Friends, how are you doing? Everyone in the community of a counselor's journey to private practice. I want to borrow your ears today and get into the topic of when should I take that leap of faith, right? Whether you are out there and you want to start a podcast, when should you click and do it? Or whether you're out there and you've been sitting on that book idea, when should you go ahead and write it and self-publish it and put it on Amazon and see who purchases it? Or maybe you're that one that, you've been working with patients for 10 years and you've been helping people with anxiety, helping them find calmness and stability. And then you think to yourself and you say, you know what? I'd like to make this into a course. When do you take that leap? When? Time continues to go by. It does. It clicks and it clicks and it clicks. No, it talks. TikTok, right? That's what it does. And we wait. And maybe we wait because of imposter syndrome. Maybe we wait because we don't feel smart enough, or we don't feel ready, or we don't feel prepared. Or we want to make it a little sharper. We want to make it a little bit smoother around the edges. Or we want more research, more content. And you notice I can keep going. I can go all day long, for days, for weeks, for months, for years. I can tell you all the reasons of why we should wait. And maybe that's the issue, because we're so much better at telling ourselves why we should wait, why we shouldn't do it right now. I find that it's beautifully imperfect, that it's perfect. I find that whenever someone is able to take that leap of faith, it's fresh air that I get to breathe in. I get to say, yes, I love that you're doing that. And I hope that it's amazing and wonderful in your life. And it allows me to see that I can too. So I made this video today to connect with anyone out there, any of you clinicians that you're sitting on something. I want to see what you're sitting on, because you have no idea how much that's going to help somebody. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be clean. It doesn't have to be at that 100% that you think it needs to be. Because you already know the answer to the next question I'm going to ask. Whenever you launch it and it's out there, at some point you're going to look at it and go, oh, I could do this to it. I could tweak it in this way. I could improve it in this way. So the idea that something has to be perfect, it's one that somehow is ingrained in our mind and restricts us and pushes us and pulls us back from, launching that idea, launching that product. So hopefully in this video, as you're listening in, as we're spending time together, you're able to get a little bit of confidence, a little bit of motivation to be curious and to be ambitious, because the counselor's journey is all about, really nudging and pushing clinicians to be a little more curious, a little more ambitious, towards the goals that you have and objectives that you want to make in your journey of private practice. Think about your idea. What is it? Write it down, such as, I want to write a book and I want to publish it. Write that down. Or I want to launch a course. Write that down. I want to create a podcast that helps kids learn how to talk to their parents, right? Whatever the idea may be. And then from there, I want you to write down 3 actionable steps that you can take, to get that bad boy ready. So for the book could be, number 1, I want to write the book, right? Pretty simple. I want to write the book. Number 2, I want to find a place to publish it. Number 3, I want to save up the money to be able to publish it or to be able to write it. And then you got to that end point. We could have put so many more steps in there, but again, I don't want us to put that many steps. I think once you have your material out there and you get to see what the world does with it, how they play with it, then from that point we look at continuing to polish it, continuing to structure it in the way that you want to. And before you head off, I want you to take a step back. This idea that I have, maybe you don't agree with it, but I want you to think about it from a clinical background. You, like me, we went to graduate school. Right? And in graduate school, we did a practicum or internship. And then maybe you, like me, you went into the field and you started working. Now, what's the difference? Right? You went into the field and you started working. And the clinician that you are today is maybe more effective than the clinician who you were yesterday. I'll be very vulnerable, and I'll share with you, the clinician that I am today is much more effective than the clinician I was when I first started. When I first started, I struggled in so many ways. Whether it was, saying certain things, or, being there. So it's a learning process, a growing process, and I own up to it. And today I know that clinically I'm much more effective, than I was then. But I wouldn't be at this point, as effective if it weren't for, the journey that I took, to get me to this point. So I know as a clinician, you've done it. As a clinician, you've been able to launch your product. That's you. You've been able to launch your product early, in the early phases, with little experience or limited experience compared to the experience that you have now. And then now you're thriving and you're doing so well and you're helping so many people. You are helping so many people overcome challenges and move forward in life. And that very idea, if you're curious enough, if you're ambitious enough, you can grab that idea and you can throw it to the actual product that you want to launch, the book that you want to write, the book that someday could be, sitting on a bookshelf in the home, of someone that picks it up at night before they go to bed to help them in taming their depression. As always, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing space with me. Subscribe if you have not. Become a part of the community. Become a friend. All right. Have an amazing day.